Very sad moment for our anglerfish friend. The kids finally broke it. Not even going to glue it. I'm going to throw it away. We got way too much stuff. There's a knot right there in its mouth. And so I used that unique feature in the wood to make a fish. I just saw it and I was like, I can make a fish out of that. So YouTube, so my thoughts today are our youth need jobs. I think experience and education are intertwined, and some of us need hands-on. When I was 12, I was throwing papers for a paper route. When I was 15, 16, 17, 18, I was teaching sailing lessons in Newport Harbor. Some summers and weekends, I helped one of our friends at church do roofing. I remember I did some roofing one summer at 14. All this stuff gives you experience. When people needed a knot, tying knots, I was like, here I am. I'm the knot king. I sailed. I can tie a bowline on a bight, double bowline, French bowline, like nobody's business. Flying bowline, dragging knot, like I learned that stuff, and those skills help me in the future on occasion. Our society is set up where, like, if you're not 18, you can't get a job. And I realize some of the youth are unreliable, but I think there needs to be more opportunities for youth to work. I'm not saying every youth has to. When I was doing sports, that was cool. But in the summer, even if I was in sports, I was expected to work. Hands-on experience, those are skills. 15, 16, 17 years old, I was an instructor. I was teaching Boy Scout merit badges, rowing, canoeing, sailing, motorboating. Like, I was teaching this stuff at 15. These kids, a lot of them don't have that experience. And those skills, I was in Boy Scouts, became an Eagle. All those little things along the way help shape you, help give you experience. And that experience, I think, helps us have common sense. And if you don't have that, make mistakes. It's one of the reasons I try to pay my children to do chores, even though they're 5, 9. I try to pay them and take them to the store and use that money, because I would rather have them learn wasting $20 than later on in life wasting thousands of dollars. All that experience can be inputted. We're all different. We're all unique. It puts them in a position to do problem solving on real life things. Because a lot of times we sit in school and they're like, well, I don't know. I'm learning math. What good is this? And you're like, oh, you got to be able to pay bills and do this. But if you have work experience, then you're like, you got a paycheck, and you're like, I need to double check my hours, make sure I was paid correctly, And so you're able to do some hands-on things and take what you've learned in school, apply it. When you go back to school, everything adds on to each other. So that's all I'm saying. That's my thought for today. Youth need opportunities to work. It's one of the reasons I did a hobby farm, so my kids could see animals being born, so my kids could have chores, feed the chickens, lay eggs, like this whole cycle of life. Put a chicken in the freezer. This whole cycle of life, they got to see. We have so much at our fingertips, but even though I see a YouTube video, you still need the dirt time, the hands-on. I'm sure there's people that watch how to do videos the whole time, and they know how here, but they don't know how here. I think there's opportunities everywhere. I'm like the little problem solver in me. This is another side note, because Mr. Random here. So I'm out helping harvest potatoes. I'm running a truck and working under the tractor, but I notice any potato under 2 inches, it's not worth the farmer's time or money to pick them up. So you have 2-inch potatoes that aren't going to market, and anything that's about that size gets cut into hash browns and tater tots. But I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm talking truckloads. And the machines naturally drop anything under 2 inches anyway. They fall through and go back on the ground. But I'm driving and I see them everywhere. All these potatoes going to waste because it's not cost effective to take them in. And he's going to have some small ones anyway that are going to turn into hash browns, French fries. But the farmer's getting 15 cents a pound. They sell them in the store, 50 cents a pound maybe. So they're not making that much per potato. You buy a 10-pound bag for $5 on occasion, or a 5-pound bag for $5. But the farmer's getting 15 cents before penalties, the bruising, all that stuff that goes on. They take into account, they test it, and then they get deductions. Like this one farmer, he's like, he got a $60,000 deduction because of like, they found a piece of corn in his potato thing. And that stuff all gets sorted out, but they're penalized heavily for, you know, if you're a punk kid and you go out with your buddies and drink beer on a farmer's property and they find glass on the property, oh my goodness, they're like, oh, we can't sell that. You know, the whole farm goes to the feedlot, you know, because some punk kids were drinking and broke bottles there or something. You know what I mean? So like, and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars just, you know, nobody will take it, blackballed, boycotted, whatever, because someone found glass on your land. So if you want to screw a farmer, yeah, go start throwing trash and, you know, that'll be a bad day. But I see opportunities everywhere, and I was like, man, what can these potatoes, we're talking truckloads and truckloads of these things under 2 inches that could feed somebody, but it's not worth the farmer's time to mess with it. But anyway, I'm just saying there's opportunities everywhere, and maybe these youth could go out and harvest under 2 inches and maybe go sell them. Certain potatoes, there's a market for small ones, but this particular potato, the ones they make French fries with, you know, it's just not worth the money to pick them up and have them bought for hash browns. It's just the cost of the equipment, you know, there's just no money in it. But I think somebody clever can figure that out. A little more than you bargained for, right? Youth need to work and potato food crisis, right? So anyway, peace out. Anyway. Oh man, I'm out of control. All right, bye.